Okay.
Okay. Hi, I'm Terry Boose. We're here to talk about the Scenic River project, not just here for the Vermilion area, but obviously the Vermilion River is the most recent one. The Vermilion River property owners did a great job at stopping the project here on the Vermilion River. If it was not for the property owners, I truly believe they would have gone through and it would have. So it's a perfect example of small government working, or smaller people speaking out, grassroots, doing what they need to do to get good government. And that's what happened in this case. I'd just like to kind of give an update as to, from the state perspective, where we are from here and what we've done since then. Right after they decided to back off on the project, I was looking at what can we do to make sure we protect the people of our area on this river immediately, and two things came to mind. One is to put something in the bill or the law or the program that said absolutely no property rights can be taken for property owners. That was number one. And number two is to make sure that we'd be well aware of anything they were going to do, unlike what they did the first time. We were going to put in the bill that if they were going to even talk about or do any such program again, they have to notify every property owner. Now, if they're talking 1,000 feet from the river, then it's not just the people on the river, but everybody that drains into that river or has any kind of property in there. They all need to be notified, not by an article in a newspaper, but personally, by mail. Whether it be email, I'm not sure with technology these days what the best way of that is to be done, but they definitely needed to be contacted. I would talk to Representative Murray to get a bipartisan bill that would move faster, and we sat down and talked. He was in agreement to that, but before we did that, I wanted to talk to the property owners and say, is that what you want? They weren't happy with that. They wanted to do a little bit more, and you know, the question is, do we do this now and come back later? Do we make more than one change? And I think they had the right idea. Let's back off, take a non-emotional look at this, and let's fix everything that's wrong in the bill at one time. The only thing and I agreed with that. Now, what does that mean? That means that nothing will be done at least until next year. After elections, we'll be going back into a very short time period, not enough time period to give it the discussion that it needs to be. And the way legislation works, or the state works, is that once we have a new group of people coming in, which will be January 1st, then all the old bills die. If they're not completed, they die. So there's no sense, I don't think, starting anything now. What we need to be doing between now and then, so we're ready to start next year, is listening to the property owners. They're the ones that lived through this. They're the ones that know what was wrong with the bill. One of the things we got to try to throw out, and only to an extent, is the emotion part of it. Taking my property rights is pretty emotional, and you're never going to take it out. But I mean, as far as making sure we're responsible to what it is. There may be a place where a scenic river is a good idea.
What benefit would be to the property owner?
And let's say you have a wide river, a big river, and it's navigable, and the property owner may decide that he wants to make sure that there are no septic systems because that part of the river has sewage treatment that they don't have to worry about or whatever. And maybe he's got a concern that somebody is not going to go, is going to move in, put in a septic system that's going to run into it and not be properly maintained or whatever. There could be an area where it could make sense. And we don't want to take away those people's rights either. But one thing we have to do is always protect property rights. Now, in order for that to happen, what I think is some of the ideas that I've been thinking about is, one is, not only do we have to make sure that nobody's property rights are ever taken away, unless they want them taken away. That might sound strange to you, but I can give you an example of where that happens. A condominium association. When you go into that condominium association, you know there's association, you know there's specific rules and regulations, and you will live by them. And if you want to buy there, then you can. But I don't think you should go into a condominium association and start making up a whole bunch of new rules that weren't there when you originally bought. So there are times, what we want to do is make sure, I'm not saying we want to make sure that the program continues. We want to look at the program to see if there are benefits for it to continue. And if there are, let's just make the changes that need to be made, but let's make all of them at once. Let's make it a full discussion. Let's have committee hearings on both sides, coming in and listening to it. One thing I can tell you I will never get in is on the property rights and the people being notified. Now, I think the property owners group can give us a lot of other good ideas of what's wrong with the bill. And that's what I'm willing to listen to. I want to hopefully, possibly by as soon as the beginning of the year, to have some lists from the property owners saying, what else did you see wrong with the bill? What was it that scared you when it was coming in? Eminent domain? Maybe we should put in it that no one other than somebody who is an elected official, no appointed agency, no appointed person, can do eminent domain. Maybe those are some of the things that we need to add. I'm not sure, but I'd be more than happy to listen to a great group who really know the issue. One thing I found out about it is the property owners in this area on the Vermilion River know the program, know the issues, and you're not going to fool them. We need to take a look at it, and we need to hear what everybody's is, not just make a Band-Aid approach. Let's get this bill the way it should be, the way it's fair to anyone and to everyone, and to make sure that we don't lose any property rights.
I think what has most people concerned right now is the economy is in a bad state, and there's grant money involved in this. There's more government intervention.
Right.
Most people who live along the river have been there for generations. They're fine with it the way they are. They're real apprehensive when someone comes in and says, you're going to have to do this, this, and this to keep this pristine.
Right.
A lot of the farmers are worried that maybe pesticides they're using will be curtailed.
Pristine's a different definition to everybody.
Yes, it is.
You know, and that's the problem. In every area, it's different too. To one people, there's a group of people that think a river that's never ever been touched is pristine.
No, that's not true.
Then there's other people that think that it needs all the work in the world. They'd almost prefer to have a cement bottom to it and be totally controlled, the water pH and everything. That's pristine. So, we have to set it up so that the people of the area make that decision. Nobody down in Columbus is making that decision for us. Nobody in the federal government is making that decision. That's decisions made by the local people. And if there's a program coming in and the local people want it, fine. But it has to be the local people want it. It can't be pushed on to us by any other larger organization, whether it's a department or whatever it is. It's the people's decision. It should always be the people's decision what they want. Grants, for the most part, I'm not in favor of grants. Grants are tax money given away, okay? And most times people don't have any say in how that money's being given away. But if there is a grant that maybe could help clean up a marina area for boating or whatever, and that's going to make it better for there, it's going to increase the economy for that area, whatever, as long as it doesn't affect the people downriver, I don't have a problem with that. But the problem, I think there should be very limited use of grants.